The day of the wedding, my wife, Olivia, said she didn't want to have children. I agreed. We even signed a DINK agreement. 10 years later, Olivia suddenly brought home a pair of mixed-race twins. She told me, "This is for the company's development. The children are from our overseas partners." A sudden thunderclap echoed in the clear sky. He questioned her about betraying the marriage. She smiled coldly. "What's wrong with sacrificing a little for the family, for my career? This is your blessing." I looked at her with red-rimmed eyes. We argued fiercely. My in-laws said I was selfish. Relatives and friends advised me to be tolerant. Even the lawyer hinted that I was at a disadvantage. "If it weren't for you insisting on getting married back then, would my daughter have signed that agreement with you? As a man, wearing a green hat isn't such a big deal. It can help my wife's career succeed. It's the blessing you accumulated from your last life. A contract can be voided at any time. You won't gain any advantage legally. I advise you to face reality. At least this way you can get a little benefit." I looked at the silent Olivia with sadness. She is already over 50, but her figure and appearance are still well maintained. "Olivia, I beg you, please don't contact them again. Okay, I don't want a divorce." Olivia took off her wedding ring and gently placed it on the table. Her voice was calm. "They are my children, my family. How can I give up? You don't understand how I feel." Her gaze was calm, but it carried a hint of coldness. "If you really have to force me, then I can only leave." I stared at the ring. "All right, I understand now. Olivia, let's get a divorce." "Lucas, think carefully. Have you done anything meaningful for the family or the company over the years? Now it's time for you to contribute a little. You just feel wronged." "Lucas, don't get too worked up." Ethan gently patted my shoulder. He said softly. My father-in-law agreed from the side. His tone carried a hint of disdain. "This is a business marriage. You understand, this is an opportunity that many people dream of. Yet here you are, still throwing a tantrum. Lucas, I understand you're hurting inside, but I have my own difficulties too," Olivia said with a tone of grievance. "Back then, the news of your infertility got out. The company's stock price dropped significantly. I had no choice but to do that at the time." I closed my eyes. Everything that happened today felt as strange as a dream. 10 years ago, Olivia's eyes turned red. "Talk to me. Lucas, I can't live without you, but I want to achieve something in my career even more. How about we stay child-free?" There was originally a promotion opportunity to the headquarters. The boss talked to me. He said I have great potential. That night, Olivia held me. She tentatively asked, "Lucas, about that promotion opportunity. Could you let Peter have it? The company is in a phase of growth. I need your support to solidify Johnson Group's position in New York." I gave the promotion opportunity to Peter. For the past 10 years, I have been doing laundry and cooking for her at home. With all my heart, even if my in-laws are somewhat dissatisfied with me, I have never complained even once. "Lucas, can you have some ambitions, staying in the kitchen all day? You look just like a house husband. Can you pay more attention to your career? Don't always act like you don't care about anything. It makes people uncomfortable to see this." My parents-in-law came to my house for dinner. They were very critical of me. Olivia was watching from the side, yet she didn't say a word to help me. I told her at the time, as long as her career is successful, I really don't care how others see me. 5 years ago, the attitude of my in-laws towards me changed. They were no longer cold. They started to care about me. I thought they saw my efforts. Later I found out Olivia had gotten involved with someone else. The company also became the industry leader. That person is Peter, whom Olivia asked me to give way to back then. Olivia finally said to me firmly, "For the sake of the child and the company, you have to accept it." Her tone was very determined. There was no room for negotiation. At the shareholders' meeting of the company, he said, "To strengthen cooperation with the Anderson Group, I have decided to invite 2 strategic partners to join." Olivia stood on the stage, slightly parting her red lips. Her tone was firm and powerful. Immediately after, 2 photos of mixed-race children suddenly appeared on the PPT. Those 2 children, their brows and eyes, look almost identical to Olivia. They are Mr. Anderson's children, Ryan and Lily. Olivia continued calmly, "Starting today, they officially joined the Johnson Group, becoming new members of our family. I pushed open the conference room door with force. The sound was loud. It startled everyone inside. Olivia turned to look at me. She frowned. There was not a hint of surprise in her eyes. Instead, there was a bit of impatience. "What are you doing here? Olivia, you have to tell me. What's going on with those two children?" She put down the remote, looked up, gazed at me coldly. She gently spoke. "They are my children." I took a few steps back. I almost lost my balance. Olivia repeated it again. Her tone was calm, as if she were talking about today's weather. 5 years ago, the company encountered serious trouble. I went abroad to seek help from Anderson. That helped the company pull through. It came back to life. "So, you betrayed our marriage. You betrayed our promise." "Lucas, what does betrayal mean? Ever since we got married, I have taken care of you like a canary. I held you in the palm of my hand, afraid that you would suffer even the slightest grievance. You say I betrayed you. That's truly unfair to me." Seeing me silent, Olivia's expression softened a bit. Her voice became gentler, with a hint of deliberate tenderness. "Lucas, I understand that it's hard for you to accept right now, but please believe me, everything I do is for our family, for the development of the company." She walked up to me, wanting to hold my hand. I avoided it. She said, "Lucas, don't be angry, okay? Look, the children are so lovely. They are your family too." Olivia's voice sounds a bit spoiled. I feel very uncomfortable. Family. She had a child with another man. Now this child has become my family. I have become an outsider in this family. Olivia is right. "Lucas, don't be so stubborn." The board member continued. "Mr. Anderson is a well-known entrepreneur internationally. To be able to cooperate with him is a rare opportunity for us at Johnson Group. It's a valuable opportunity. You are Olivia's husband. You should support her, instead of causing a scene here." The board member looked at me. His tone carried a concern of an elder. "It seems like I still don't understand things. Lucas, you need to think about others. You can't just focus on yourself. For the development of the company, what's the big deal about sacrificing a bit of personal feelings? Look at Olivia. She has done so much for the company, for this family. How much effort she has put in. Is that not enough for you?" The other board members also chimed in, criticizing me in a flurry of voices, as if not accepting these two kids is a huge mistake, unforgivable. I noticed those who usually treated me kindly, even some flattering board members. Now they have all changed their faces, giving me cold remarks. This reminds me of when Olivia asked me to give up my promotion opportunity. These board members have the same attitude. They advised me to consider the big picture, advising me to sacrifice my small self to achieve a greater self. I sent a message to my friend. "Once I handle the divorce, I will come back." The door opened again. Anderson walked in with a pair of mixed-race twins. He said, "Thank you all for coming to my children's recognition ceremony." Anderson expressed his gratitude in fluent Chinese. He also praised Olivia for being an amazing mother. Olivia's parents couldn't stop smiling after hearing this. They were very caring towards Anderson, warm and attentive. "Look at the way they see me. I feel belittled and excluded. It's as if I am the troublemaker ruining this family gathering. Ryan, Lily, come quickly and call them Grandpa and Grandma." Olivia gently guided the children. "Grandpa, Grandma." The children's tender voices were clear and sweet, yet they felt like a knife. It pierced deep into my heart. "They call others Grandpa and Grandma. What about me? What am I?" Anderson stood beside Olivia, gently embracing her shoulders. The gaze falls on the interaction between the children and the two elderly people. He was once laughed at, abandoned by his wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and even everyone else, like a useless waste. The father-in-law and mother-in-law are surrounding the two children. They are asking questions with great concern. They are taking care of them meticulously. "Ryan, Lily, do you like it here? This will be your home from now on." The mother-in-law gently strokes the child's head. Her face is beaming with a smile. She softly says, "Grandpa and Grandma are really nice." Ryan sweet talks his in-laws, making them very happy. He smiles and says to Lucas, "Look, Olivia and Mr. Anderson are truly a perfect match." A relative walks over. raises his voice and says, "His words are filled with envy and flattery. Exactly. They are indeed a perfect match. They are a match made in heaven. I think this should have been done a long time ago. Both sides cooperate. Only then can we become stronger. SHH, keep your voice down. Don't let Lucas hear. So what if he hears? He relies on others to survive. How capable can he be? I'm turning around, planning to leave this suffocating place. Lucas, where are you going?" Olivia's voice comes from behind. "Sounds like a bit of false concern," she said. "It's too stuffy here. I'm going out for some fresh air. I'll be back in a bit." I returned home. I heard Olivia speaking. To thank Mr. Anderson for his strong support of the Johnson Group, and to give Ryan and Lily a better future, I decided to give them my personally held 50 shares of the Johnson Group. Ryan and Lily will each receive 20. Additionally, I will also give Mr. Anderson an extra 10 shares. I look forward to our two companies working closely together. Together we will create a bright future. My in-laws listened. His face was beaming with joy. Excitement shone in his eyes. The directors were all smiles. They all stepped forward to congratulate Anderson and Olivia. They were saying all kinds of flattering words. They praised. "Mr. Anderson and Olivia are truly a perfect match. This is a true powerhouse partnership. Congratulations, Mr. Anderson, and congratulations to Olivia as well. You have welcomed a precious child and received shares." Anderson wrapped his arm around Olivia's waist, listening to everyone's congratulations. His face was filled with undeniable pride. "Thank you for Olivia's generosity. I promise, the Anderson Group will fully support the development of the Johnson Group." Anderson gently kissed Olivia on the forehead. I was staring at them intently. My nails were almost digging into my palm. "In those shares, there is my share. That was earned through my tireless work at home, staying up late to create proposals. Every bit of effort I put in." Now, she treated him like she was dismissing a beggar. She casually gave him away to someone else. Relatives gathered around, wearing forced smiles on their faces, speaking insincerely. "That's right. Men should be like Mr. Anderson. They should be courageous. They should have a sense of responsibility." I kept drinking one glass after another, trying to numb myself with alcohol. "Hey, isn't that Lucas? Why are you drinking alone here?" A voice came. It was laced with obvious sarcasm. "It's Peter. He used to always follow behind me, busy running around. He called me Lucas with such familiarity. And now, he raised his glass and said to me, 'Cheers, I'll toast to you, wishing you find new happiness soon.'" After saying that, he downed his drink in one go. I looked at his unpleasant expression. I felt a wave of nausea. I suddenly pushed him away. I stumbled out of the banquet hall. My phone rang. It was Olivia calling. She said, "Lucas, where are you? I'm here to pick you up." Her voice was still so gentle. "Lucas, you've had too much to drink. I'll help you get back." When Olivia found me, I was slumped on a bench by the roadside. She was still wearing the dress from the banquet. Her makeup was exquisite. Her posture was elegant. It stood in stark contrast to my disheveled appearance. "Don't touch me." I violently shook off her hand, as if trying to avoid something terrifying. Olivia was taken aback. Then she immediately showed a concerned expression. "Lucas, I know you're not feeling well inside, but what's done is done." I interrupted her. Her voice was a bit hoarse. "What else is there between us? Olivia, go ahead and tell me. What do we have left between us?" She opened her mouth. It seemed she had something to say, but in the end she still couldn't say it. I looked at her. Suddenly, memories of our past came to mind. Back then, the company had just been established. We didn't have enough money. Everything was very difficult. I gave up the opportunity for promotion to support her. I accompanied her to meet clients and seek investments. There was one time, for an important project, we stayed up for 3 consecutive nights. I was so tired that I could barely keep my eyes open, but I still pushed through to help her organize materials and make coffee. "Olivia, you should go get some sleep. I'll handle the rest," I said while yawning. She looked at me with concern. She shook her head and said, "I'm not at ease. I should stay with you at that time. She only had me in her heart." I grabbed her shoulder tightly. I said eagerly, "Olivia, let's try again. I'm going to have surgery. Let's have our own child." I stared at her intently, but she gently pushed my hand away. With a tender smile still on her face, she said, "Lucas, don't be silly. I can't have children anymore. You should just accept Ryan and Lily. They are also your children." She paused for a moment. Her gaze was somewhat evasive. Her voice also became softer. "Moreover, you really think, with your current abilities, what else can you give me? What else can you bring to Johnson Group? I can't wait any longer." The air seemed to freeze instantly. Olivia then spoke to the people behind her. "You few, take him back." The next day, Olivia brought Ryan and Lily back home. She said it was to strengthen their bond. "But those two kids completely ignored me. This is our new home. Isn't it a bit small? It can't even compare to Uncle Anderson's pool." Lily frowned, showing a dissatisfied expression. Ryan was straightforward, with his arms crossed, looking up at the ceiling. "Mom, he's the one you mentioned, Dad." He intentionally elongated his voice. Olivia smiled awkwardly, trying to ease the atmosphere. "Ryan, Lily, this is for you. Uncle Lucas." Ryan chuckled coldly. "Speak, Mom, didn't you say he wouldn't be a part of our family for long?" I turned and walked into the study. As I pushed open the door, the scene before me left me stunned. The bookshelf had fallen to the ground. Books were scattered everywhere. The ink bottle was also overturned. Black ink was flowing all over the walls and floor. It looked somewhat frightening. Ryan and Lily were standing amidst the chaos, with no hint of remorse on their faces. "What are you doing?" I hurried over. My voice was a bit hoarse. Lily looked up and said confidently, "We are helping you clean the room. These useless things should have been cleared out long ago." Ryan went even further. He picked up a limited edition book that I treasured, ripped out a page, and crumpled it into a ball, and threw it at me. He even said, "What use are these old antiques? Can they make you a man again? Get out." I pointed at the door and shouted loudly. Olivia ran over upon hearing the sound. Lily Ryan immediately cried out, "Mom, he's a bad guy. He's threatening us. We need to find Uncle Anderson." Olivia said to Lucas, "Lucas, how can you be so harsh to two kids? This is their home. It's you who should leave." Olivia tenderly picked up the two children and turned to walk out the door. I stood in the empty villa, took out the divorce agreement and signed my name. Then I added her to the blacklist. Next, I called Ethan. "Prepare the plane. I'll be there soon." Olivia led Ryan and Lily into KFC. Anderson was sitting across from them, with a fake smile on his face. He occasionally chimed in, making the kids laugh nonstop. Olivia found an excuse, claiming she needed to go to the restroom, and temporarily left her seat. Anderson immediately stopped smiling. His expression turned unpleasant. He asked softly, "What do you think of Lucas?" Ryan and Lily exchanged glances. At the same time, they shook their heads. "What's so good about him? He's just a useless person." Anderson scoffed disdainfully. "He doesn't even have children. Can he still be called a man?" Lily mimicked an adult's tone and said, "Right, Mom said he won't be part of our family for long," Ryan said proudly. Anderson nodded in satisfaction. "You all need to remember, you should listen to Mom. And you should also listen to me. Only then can our family be reunited." The kids nodded. Although they didn't quite understand, it seemed they got the message. "What are you all talking about?" Olivia came back. She accidentally overheard the conversation. "It's nothing. We are discussing what gifts to buy for the children." Anderson immediately smiled. "What do the children want? Let's just buy them." Olivia said calmly, "You're quite generous." Anderson praised. His gaze accidentally swept over Olivia. "By the way, Olivia, I heard you've had some troubles recently." Anderson suddenly changed the topic. "It's nothing, just some minor issues." Olivia frowned slightly. "Is there anything I can help with? Just let me know, you know. I have always valued your abilities." Anderson said in a deep tone. Olivia stared at Anderson. A sudden wave of disgust surged in her heart. After coming out of KFC, she walked home with the children. On the way, the children kept chatting excitedly. They were enthusiastically discussing the gifts Anderson promised to buy for them. She suddenly felt a wave of inexplicable panic. This emotion made her feel cold all over. She thought of Lucas. She remembered his past tenderness and thoughtfulness. She said to Anderson, "You take the kids to play first. I'm a bit tired." I want to go back and rest for a while. Olivia found an excuse to let Anderson leave first. She returned to the villa alone. The house was empty. It felt particularly desolate. She walked to the study door and saw the divorce agreement already signed on the table. A wave of pain surged in her heart. She recalled the hurtful words she had said to Lucas when she left. She also remembered how thoughtful he used to be towards her. Once upon a time, behind this door was his warm embrace. He would make her a cup of hot milk, gently massaging her stiff shoulders and asking her in a low voice, "Are you tired? Do you want to take a break?" He did it for me. He even gave up the opportunity for a promotion. He said, "Olivia, your dreams are more important than mine." At that time, I was just focused on being happy, yet I forgot to ask him what his dreams were. He chose to be child-free to support me. He secretly underwent a vasectomy. I found out when I saw the surgery form. He looked very nervous. I said at the time, "This is also quite good. It saves trouble later on." She suddenly wanted to see him. She wanted to hear his voice. She took out her phone and found that Lucas had already blocked her. She sat weakly on the sofa, and tears silently fell. Olivia hurriedly called Anderson. Anderson's voice still carried that irreverent tone. "Olivia, you're not sad about that useless guy, are you?" He even whistled, making fun of how naive I was. "He's gone. Ha, this old trick. It's just to make you soften your heart. Don't worry, it won't take 3 days. He'll come back obediently, like a well-behaved dog." I grip my phone tightly. My fingers have turned white. I try to keep my voice steady. "Anderson, it's about the matter between Lucas and me. You have no right to comment. It's not your place." Anderson's smile is a bit exaggerated. "Speak. Olivia, have you forgotten who has always been by your side? Who helped you come up with ideas to keep you in your current position? And who gave you these 2 lovely children?" His words carry obvious hints and threats. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. I suppress the anger inside. I respond coldly, "Anderson, we only have a cooperative relationship. It's about Lucas and me. It has nothing to do with you. It's okay." "Olivia, you're too naive." Anderson's tone suddenly turned cold. "What do you think? Without my help, could you have achieved what you have today? Don't forget, everything you have is because of me. Lucas is completely a failure, except for that face. What else can he give you? Wealth?" Anderson continued to ask. "Is it for status or for power?" I clenched my teeth, not allowing myself to make any sound. I admit, in the past few years, Anderson has indeed helped me a lot. Look at him, always so timid. He has no masculinity at all. If I hadn't helped you back then, could you have smoothly obtained those projects?" Anderson's words became more direct and increasingly unpleasant. "And those 2 kids? If it weren't for me, how can you have such a lovely child? Can you understand the joy of being a mother?" My breathing is getting faster. It feels like a heavy stone is pressing on my chest. I feel like I can't breathe. I recall, every time Lucas and I argue about work, Anderson always shows up at just the right moment. On the surface, he's here to comfort me, but in reality he makes things worse. Suddenly, I understand. Over the years, Anderson has unknowingly infiltrated every corner of my life. He always belittles Lucas and elevates himself. Gradually, it influenced my perspective. Those little things I used to overlook. Now, I remember them all at once. Lucas has given up several promotion opportunities to help me advance my career. He has silently endured a lot of grievances. But what about me? I was enchanted by Anderson's sweet talk, but was charmed by Anderson's sweet talk. Repeatedly hurt Lucas. I took a deep breath. "Try to calm yourself down." "Anderson, stop it. My tone is icy. It's my own business. I'll handle it myself. From now on, don't bother anymore." Anderson was momentarily stunned. Then he burst into laughter. "Handle it? How do you plan to handle it, Olivia? You can't live without me. Without me, you're nothing." "Really?" I gave a cold smile. "Anderson, you're too full of yourself. You think so? Am I still the obedient Olivia you used to know?" "Shut up. I really can't stand Anderson's nonsense." I yelled into the phone. "Anderson, I warn you, don't bother me again. From now on, we're cutting ties." On the other end of the line, Anderson seemed stunned by my resolute attitude. There was silence for a few seconds, just when I thought he would give up. He suddenly sneered. "Olivia, You think you can just shake me off like this? Don't think too simply. Anderson's tone carried a clear threat, don't forget. You still have leverage in my hands. I felt a tightness in my chest, but I still pretended to be calm. Anderson, what do you mean by that? Anderson smiled smugly. Speak. Do you really think those 2 children are yours? Do you really think no one knows what you've done? Anderson's words were like a thunderclap, exploding in my ears. My mind went blank. My body trembled involuntarily. I struggled to stay awake. I asked with a trembling voice, what do you want to say? Anderson laughed almost uncontrollably. Do you really think I'd be so kind to help you realize your dream of a business empire? Do you really think I will make my child call someone else dad? I feel dizzy and lightheaded. I almost couldn't stand. Olivia, you are just a pawn in my control. Whatever I tell you to do, you have to comply. Otherwise, Anderson's voice became low and frightening. I will make you lose everything. Your reputation will be ruined. Olivia, do you remember that night 5 years ago? My eyes widened suddenly. Memories from 5 years ago flooded my mind like a torrent. That was the darkest night of my life. It was also the beginning of my nightmare. In order to secure a partnership with Anderson's company, I drank the glass of wine he handed me. You think I would let you get pregnant with someone else's child? Don't be naive. Anderson chuckled with a hint of pride. Ryan and Lily are both my children. My wife is afraid of pain. You are just a tool for us to surrogate. I feel a wave of intense nausea. My stomach is churning. The next day, a video of Johnson Group's Olivia being mocked went viral online. That humiliating night 5 years ago, used as a weapon by Anderson. He struck me hard. The stock price of Johnson Group plummeted. Partners withdrew their investments one after another. The bank's calls for debt repayment came one after another. I became someone everyone avoided. Anderson had already cleaned out the company's funds, disappeared without a trace. My phone kept vibrating. My in-laws called one after another. Olivia, you unlucky fool, you caused our family to end up like this. You harmed Lucas. How can you still be alive? Why don't you just disappear? Lucas really misjudged you. He actually married someone like you. I felt like I was going crazy. I had to find Lucas. I firmly believed he would help me because he loves me the most. I contacted all the friends of Lucas that I could reach. Olivia, did you need something from me? Oh, Lucas, we're actually not very close, really. You should ask someone else for help. Olivia, how dare you call me? Back then, you did that to Lucas because of that foreigner. You made Lucas suffer so badly. Don't you realize that now you only remember him? It's already too late. These so-called friends and partners used to flatter me in every way. Now they can't wait to stomp on me, and they want to kick me again. I'm swaying as I walk down the street. The heel of my high-heel shoe broke. I look very disheveled. In my mind, there's only the shadow of Lucas, that gentle and caring man, the man I once ignored. He did it for me. He gave up the opportunity for a promotion, gave up the opportunity to study abroad. He even, for my so-called DINK agreement, underwent a sterilization procedure. As for me, I repay him. It is betrayal. It is humiliation. It is constant hurt. That Anderson is truly incomprehensible. He fabricated a huge lie, played me around in circles. He used me, drained me, and finally discarded me like trash. I hate him. I particularly dislike Anderson, but I hate myself even more. By the way, the studio. Lucas once said his dream was to have a studio in the countryside. That was his only wish. But because of me, this dream was destroyed. I hailed a taxi and reported the address in a hoarse voice. The driver glanced at me. There was confusion in his eyes. It seemed he thought I was a bit abnormal. But he still drove. We arrived at the destination. I paid the fare. I didn't even wait for the change. I hurriedly got out of the car. The air in the suburbs smelled of dirt and decaying leaves. It made me cough uncontrollably. I had no idea where my high heels had gone. The soles of my feet were cut by pebbles. It hurt badly, but I couldn't care about that now. I just wanted to find him, to find Lucas. It's been 5 years. Exactly 5 years. I felt like a discarded toy, struggling in the mud for 5 years. That guy Anderson, he actually said Ryan and Lily are his children. Olivia realized she had been treated as a surrogate tool. I was extremely angry. I wished he would receive severe punishment. What angers me more is myself. How could I have been so confused back then? I actually believed his sweet words. Looking back now, I'm the biggest joke. What about Lucas, the man I once looked down on, the man I treated so casually? Where is he now? I'm walking along the ridge, shifting forward, one foot deep and the other shallow. With every step I take, the wounds on my feet tear open again. It hurts so much that I break out in a cold sweat. But this little pain is nothing compared to the pain in my heart. I lost him, the man who loved me wholeheartedly, in pursuit of a so-called career. For that unattainable business empire, I pushed him away with my own hands, pushed him into an endless abyss. Now, the retribution has come. I finally understand what it feels like to be abandoned. From a distance, I see a shabby little house. It looks like it's about to collapse. That's right. Is this Lucas's studio? He once told me. His biggest wish was to have his own studio, where he could paint freely. At that time, I laughed at him for lacking ambition. I insisted he give up that unrealistic dream. I slowly approached the small house. My heart was beating faster and faster. The door was half open. I pushed the door open and went in. The room was empty. There was only an old easel and a few sheets of paper scattered on the floor. A half-finished painting hung on the wall. The woman in the painting was wearing a white dress, standing in the middle of a golden wheat field. She looked very happy. That was me from 20 years ago. At that time, I had not yet been controlled by desire and ambition. I hadn't turned into this inhuman, ghostly figure I am now. Next to the painting, there was a note. It had Lucas's familiar handwriting on it. The brushwork is profound. Every stroke is like a knife. It deeply pierces my heart. Olivia, I'm leaving, don't look for me, forget me. The note is crumpled. There are traces of dried tears on it. I can't control my tears anymore. They came pouring out all at once. I kneel on the ground. I cry out loud. I was wrong. I was really wrong, Lucas. Will you come back? I'm begging you. Come back. I'll give the company back to you. I'll give everything back to you as long as you come back. But I know he will never come back again. In this world, there will never be a man who loves me like he did. No one knows where Olivia has gone, the once glorious, strong woman. It was as if he had suddenly vanished. Everyone only knows, in a small town, there was a woman in a tattered dress. She searched for her man every day. She always asked, "Have you seen Lucas?" Olivia would stop every passerby and keep asking. He is incredibly handsome. When he smiles, his eyes sparkle like stars. Someone spat at her and shouted, "You're crazy, get away." Some people felt sorry for her and handed her a bun. They sighed. Sigh. Another poor woman abandoned by a man. She didn't want the bun. She only wanted her Lucas. Ethan saw me onto the plane to M Country. He is the only person I trust now. He is the only person I trust now. Once the hatch is closed, I will completely say goodbye to the past. Ethan knows that I had a sterilization surgery. He specifically had his personal doctor treat me for the sake of living. I studied hard, absorbing knowledge like a sponge absorbs water, researching day and night. Programming technology is advancing rapidly. The project proposal I submitted received recognition from the company's executives. They were amazed by my talent and creativity. I finally had the opportunity to showcase my abilities in front of everyone. The software I developed became very popular in the market. The company's business is growing rapidly. I put all my energy into work. I experienced a larger business sphere. I met top talents from different industries. The nights in Silicon Valley. The cold wind is biting. I tightened my coat, stepping out of the brightly lit office building. It's been 5 years. From assistant engineer to project leader, and now to this resignation letter. Everything happened so fast, like a dream. I didn't tell anyone about my plan, only told Ethan. The call was connected. A familiar voice came through. It still sounded a bit sleepy. "Hello, Lucas." I lowered my voice, afraid of revealing something important. "Ethan, it's me." I resigned. Ethan was silent for a moment, then he laughed. There was no surprise in his laughter, only understanding and support. "I knew it long ago. You would do something great sooner or later. Go ahead. "What do you need my help with this call? I've bet everything on it." Artificial intelligence. This is the battlefield I've chosen. On the day the company opened, there was no lively celebration, only me and a few like-minded friends, crammed into a small office. The computer screen emitted a blue light. The sound of the keyboard kept ringing out. The air is filled with the scent of coffee and instant noodles. Ethan's investment came at just the right time. It has been a great help to me. He leveraged his connections back home. He helped me contact several potential investors. I'm working hard every day, leading the team to solve one technical challenge after another. Our product, it's like a baby that needs care. Under our careful nurturing, it gradually matures. Good news is here. My company has been selected as one of the most promising tech companies in country. In front of the camera, I give an interview. I strive to control my inner excitement. Although I have succeeded, I understand. This is just the beginning. I thought the wheels of fate had rusted long ago and would never turn again, but they suddenly started to move. She quietly entered my life like this. There was no grand encounter, nor any particularly eye-catching moments. I can't even remember what we talked about the first time. I only remember her speaking. Her eyes were filled with understanding and warmth. I told her, "I plan to grow the company bigger and stronger." She widened her eyes and said seriously, she believed in me. Later, we had our own home. Although it was small, it was filled with love and laughter. She would always gently hand me a cup of hot milk. Whenever I faced setbacks, she would hold me tightly and give me strength. Later, we had children, a pair of lovely kids. The daughter is like her. She loves to laugh, her eyes are crescent-shaped. The son is like me, although a bit naughty. He is clever and smart. I watch them sleeping quietly in the cradle, watching them wobbly learn to walk, hearing them call me Dada for the first time with their tender voices. My heart feels warm. This is what home is. This is what life is. This is everything Lucas has always wanted but lost. I give all my love to this new home, striving to be a good husband, a good father. The children are gradually growing up. I often take them to the park to play, watching them run and jump on the grass, with innocent smiles on their faces. I feel particularly calm and satisfied inside. The sun sets in the west. The sunlight stretches the shadows of me and the children long, overlapping together. I hold my daughter with one hand and my son with the other. Their little hands are soft and tender, gripping my fingers tightly. My daughter happily called out, "Daddy, look, our shadows." Her voice is crisp. It is filled with a child's unique excitement. My son is not to be outdone. He jumps and says, "Dad, my shadow is the longest." I look down at them fighting for it. I feel warmth in my heart. We've walked this road many times, but every time we walk it, it feels like the first time. It's full of freshness. The home is just ahead.